Most Windows users take 4 or 5 clicks just to restart into BIOS. Developers wait through recovery menus. IT technicians open 5 separate windows just to check TPM and secure boot status. But one batch file changes all of that, and I built it. This is the Valley4Techs Boot Toolkit, version 1. It's a Windows batch script that puts 10 of the most used BIOS, TPM, and boot management tools into a single admin-level menu. No installation, no third-party software, no registry edits. You run it as administrator, and every option is one key press away. Let me walk you through exactly what it does and when you'd actually use it. Windows has always had these tools. The problem is they're scattered, buried in settings, MMC consoles, PowerShell commands, and recovery screens. For a typical hardware setup or troubleshooting session, you might need to jump between System Information, Device Manager, Disk Management, check Secure Boot in PowerShell, look up the BIOS version with a WMI query, and then somehow get into UEFI firmware without rebooting 3 times wrong. This toolkit consolidates all of that into one place. Useful for IT technicians, developers building Windows environments, and power users doing hardware upgrades. First thing to know, this tool requires administrator privileges. That's not optional. Most of what it does involves system-level access. If you try to run it without elevation, it detects that immediately and throws a clear warning. No silent failures. Once you run it as admin, you get the main menu. 10 options, each mapped to a single key. The color scheme, green on black, is intentional. It reads clearly. It feels like a system tool. And on any monitor, in any lighting condition, it's readable. Let's go through each option. This is the flagship feature, the command shutdown /R/F/T0 forces an immediate restart directly into UEFI firmware. No timing required, no F2 mashing, no hope that you hit the key fast enough. One important note that the tool makes clear: it restarts immediately with 0 delay. Save your work before hitting 1. This works on UEFI systems, which covers virtually every PC made in the last decade. If you're still on legacy BIOS, the /FW flag won't apply, and Windows will just reboot normally. This opens the Windows recovery environment options directly from settings. You get Safe Mode, Startup Repair, Command Prompt Access, and System Restore, all from one place. Useful when you need to troubleshoot a system that won't boot cleanly. This launches MS Info 32, the full Windows System Information Panel. Hardware resources, components, software environment, everything you'd want for documentation or support tickets. Faster to access this way than navigating through search or the run dialog. This opens the TPM Management console directly. This is critical for Windows 11 upgrades, BitLocker setup, and hardware security checks. You can verify the TPM version, check manufacturer, and confirm it's ready for use, all in one panel. We're halfway through the menu, and the next 2 options are where this tool gets genuinely useful for anyone doing Windows security work. Stay with me. This runs a PowerShell command, confirm secure boot UEFI, and returns either true or false. Clean, direct, No navigating into UEFI settings to check visually. Useful for verifying Windows 11 compatibility or confirming a system's security baseline. Pulls the BIOS version string using a WMI query and getSim instance Win32 BIOS. One line, instant result. No going into BIOS, no hunting through system info panels. Perfect for asset management, compliance checks, or confirming a firmware update went through. This runs BCD Edit, the Windows Boot Configuration Data Editor. You get the full boot entry list, identifiers, device paths, OS loader locations, and boot status. If you've ever needed to diagnose a dual boot setup, recover a missing boot entry, or confirm what's loading at startup, this is the raw data you need. These two options are exactly what they say. Disk mgmt.msc and devmgmt.msc. Launched directly. No navigation required. Fast access when you're in the middle of hardware setup and need to jump to these tools quickly. The About screen gives you version, author, and brand, clean and minimal. Option W opens the Valley4Techs website directly in your browser. This is version 1. The foundation is solid. Good error handling, clear structure, admin detection at the top of the script. There's a lot of room to build on this. Maybe a hardware health check option, event log access, or network diagnostics in version 2. For anyone curious about how it's built, let's spend 60 seconds on the code. Right-click anywhere on your computer, and from the menu that appears, select the New option. And from the submenu that appears, choose Text Document. Open the document and paste this code into it. You will find a link to get it in the video description. At the top, we uses Set Local Enable Delayed Expansion for safe variable handling. Then it checks for administrator privileges using Net Session. If the error level isn't 0, you're not elevated. It shows the warning and exits. Simple, reliable detection. Colors are set with the color command 0A. It gives you the green on black. Navigation uses Go-To labels. Each option has its own labeled block. The BIOS Reboot option is the most powerful line in the file. /R restarts. /FW targets UEFI firmware. /T0 means zero delay. That's all it takes to go straight into firmware setup without touching a function key. The PowerShell calls use no profile and execution policy bypass to run cleanly without profile dependencies. They'll work on any standard Windows 10 or Windows 11 setup. Now, let's convert this file into a batch file. From the top left of the text document, click on the File menu, and then from the menu that appears, click on the Save As option. In the window that appears, in the File Name field, type a descriptive name for the file that indicates its function, so you can easily identify it in the future. Then add .bat to the end of the name. In the Save As Type field, select the All Files option. Finally, click the Save button. So that's the Valley4Techs Boot Toolkit. 9 tools, 1 menu, 0 installs. Whether you're a technician setting up a new machine, a developer working with Windows environments, or a power user who's tired of hunting through menus, this does the job. The link to download it is in the description. Run it as administrator, and every option is one key press away. If you want to see what gets added in version 2, or if you want a walkthrough of building your own Windows admin toolkit from scratch, drop that in the comments. I read them. If this was useful, subscribe. I cover practical Windows tools, system administration, and hardware utilities that actually save time.